Good morning, how are you? It's beautiful Friday, the 16th of November. What's happening for you today? How are you feeling? Because it's Friday. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're nearly there. You're nearly at Friday. It's great to jump on and be with you this morning. And I hope you've checked out the heading for today, how not to eat the chocolate. And it is meant to be funny too. I'm Linda, I'm your trauma recovery coach, and we're doing all things anxiety today, but primarily we're going to look at how not to eat the chocolate. Hi Jan, and it was so funny. One of the people I thought of this morning when I was, putting it all together, planning to do this, was you. Because you've known me so long, I thought Jan's going to get on and tell me, she doesn't know how not to eat the chocolate. But yeah, how are we going to not eat the chocolate? Sorry, my hands are pretty, need some moisture today. So, we all know I've been on this wonderful keto adventure, which doesn't include sugar, which doesn't include chocolate, which precludes the Tim Tams. How the heck did I give up eating Tim Tams? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't easy, actually. It did become easy because I got frustrated, but I also started to look at the bigger picture. I had to ask myself the question, is eating the chocolate getting me to my bigger picture? And of course it's not, but how do we not eat the chocolate? Well, I realised it came down to it. It's not just changing your mindset, it's putting an understanding around it. I could look at it that I'm going without chocolate, or I could look at it that I've already tasted this chocolate. I know what it tastes like. I know how good it is. And let's face it, it is so easy to go eat the chocolate. But I realised that, well, first of all, two things that I realised. One, I watched that movie, The Magic Pill. If you've got Netflix, you can see it, but you should also be able to see it on YouTube. And it didn't just explain what sugar does to your brain. It actually gave real life experiences of people who stopped eating sugar. Now, I'm not going to advocate you stop eating sugar, that's your call. But the chocolate, the change of awareness around whether to eat the chocolate or not, for me, came with understanding that I'd spent decades eating the chocolate and I wasn't getting where I wanted to be. So don't eat the chocolate. And when I explained this to a friend of mine, I said, instead of picking up the chocolate, say to myself, I already know what this tastes like, and it tastes really nice. Absolutely. I mean, if you're Australian, how do we live without Tim Tams? Let's face it. And if you're in America, Tim Tams can be bought at your local Target. Buy one packet only, because if you buy two, you'll eat them. And that's straight out. That's from a friend of mine in America who has to buy 2 packets because she's got a family. But we do have to make these choices on a daily basis. Do I eat the chocolate, which I already know what it tastes like and it's absolutely divine? Don't send me Tim Tams. Or do I say, I want another 50 years here and I want to do this work that I absolutely love and adore, and I want to do it well. Like, I want to do it in wellness, and I want my health to be well more than I want to eat the chocolate, which I already know what it tastes like and it doesn't do anything for me. And it's in having the courage to ask ourselves these questions that we begin to get better answers for ourselves as well. So at gym this morning, I'm sitting there thinking, well, how can we apply this concept to anxiety as well? How can I say, okay, I've been down this road before with anxiety. What do I need to do to change it up? And it will be different along the path of being able to break free from anxiety, each stage that you're at, each stage of recovery, it will be different what you decide to do. So for where I'm at personally in my recovery journey, I walked into gym this morning and there was a massive trigger there for me, but I felt my body instantly go into freeze. And I went, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. I am safe and I am in control. Now, if you said that to somebody who has anxiety, just don't. You don't say this sort of stuff because you don't know where they are in recovery. For me, it was a case of saying, I'm in control because there was someone there that triggered a really highly abusive situation that happened to me last year. And I went, no, I'm in control. But the thing is, when you say that, it's not just about it being a thought, it's about us feeling how I am in control. And letting that feeling overtake the feeling of anxiety and that I am out of control. And there's a big difference, and there's also, it takes time to get to this stage. But the good news is it's doable, okay? Now, if you're with a professional therapist or a trauma coach or a counsellor, take the information and say, I want strategies for the next step that I have to take because I don't want to eat the chocolate anymore. I.e., I do not want to have to continually go down the same road with this anxiety or panic attack. I don't want to. And you're allowed to say that, okay? You're allowed to go in and put language around it and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Enough. I want strategies that will help me have a different experience when this comes up, okay? We have to be courageous. We have to be the ones that choose to put our voice into action and say no more. I want a different set of strategies and I want to put them in an order. Now remember, with childhood developmental trauma, our brain formed in a different way than if you haven't had trauma, okay? So if you experience childhood developmental trauma, your first response is emotional to everything, okay? And it's not something that you can help until you know about it. Once you know about it, you can start building a deeper awareness around yourself as well. Now, childhood developmental trauma includes ongoing physical, mental, it's primarily physically, emotional and sexual abuse, but you can also look at spiritual abuse and, what did I miss? Mental, I think. You can also look at nurturing. If you had a lack of nurturing, it can, your brain can develop this way as well, as in there's no logic, you just go straight to being triggered and on hypervigilance, okay? So automatic, you go straight to the emotional response, and instead of, right, so if your brain hasn't experienced trauma throughout childhood, it will go straight to the logical. It'll be your emotional and your logical are still intertwined, and you are able to put logic to the emotions. If, however, you have childhood developmental trauma, what happens is you go straight to the emotional, straight into fight, flight, freeze, or your amygdala, the emotional centre, saying, I'm not safe. And then all your adrenaline goes to the far reaches of your body, ready to take flight, all right, or freeze, or to take action, okay? It's ready for you to direct the course of what you need to do, okay? And there's no prefrontal cortex involved, so there's no logic involved, okay? Now we absolutely can have and build strategies into our lives in order that we can do things like when I walk into the gym this morning and got triggered, I went, no, I can feel my body. I can feel what's happening in my body, and I know I'm safe. But I also know now that I'm in control. And you know what? I could have celebrated and gone and eaten a whole packet of Tim Tams because it's taken so long to get here, but I'm doing it. Okay? And to be honest, the feeling of joy of overcoming that is just, it's priceless. Okay? So I want to encourage you that all the work that you do is worth it, and it's worth it to not eat the chocolate and change how you feel about it, and just put it into place one step at a time. Now, because it's Friday, or as some people call it, Fry-yay, I want you to think about how over the last 5 days we've talked about different facets of anxiety. Plus we had the release of Feet Hit the Floor. And think about how you want to use your language around it in your own home to begin with, because that's where you'll more than likely feel the safest. And how you want to communicate that to the people around you as well. Now, they might not have language to support you, so you might need to incorporate that in how you talk to the people around you as well. And no matter what, remember that we can do hard things. We do them together because the trauma did not happen in a void. I love you all heaps, and thanks for tuning in, and have a restful, restorative weekend. Do something fun, enjoy it, relax, sit back. We've learned a lot this week and enjoyed the time. And if you want to, if it would help, sit down and write out what you need from your therapist or coach in order that when you go, you remember, because memory can be challenging, you remember what it is you next want to strategize so that you can continue to become well. Hi, Tracy. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for joining in. And I know you will get a lot out of today's broadcast. Remember, we can learn how not to eat the chocolate. Okay, bye for now.